Good evening. Welcome to the latest live edition of Last Bar Boxing. You've not got the day wrong. Don't be checking your calendars. It is a Wednesday. It's a one-off. So, joined by regular Ander. Good evening, Ander.
Evening, mate. How are you, pal?
All good, all good. So, a bit of a light week this week. So, who knows where this show's going to take us, like ever.
Yeah.
I've had a few spats on social media this week, so I've invited a few people on if they want to stop typing and try talking for once. So let's see if they join.
Well, let's start with that then. What they've been saying.
Yeah, so a couple of them are talking about. So the Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence press conference. I tweeted out that I thought the production was rather poor, and that it could do with Eddie Hearn's input in terms of banter, and he's probably the best at what he does regarding press conferences.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I had a couple of people jump on me saying I was a fanboy of Eddie Hearn, went on the channel a little bit as well. So I gave him the stop response that I always give. Stop typing away and jump on the channel. We're not hard to find.
And I bet absolutely. Well, if they're giving you crap about the channel, that means they've watched it. Number one, and number two, none of them ever come on the show, mate.
Well, he even took a screenshot of me, which was quite. I thought it was quite a big compliment to me. If he's took all the time to start taking screenshots for someone who's got a face for radio, then you've only got to take it as a compliment, haven't you?
Do you know what? Do you know what, mate? You have to take some of this stuff with a pinch of salt. It is what it is. You're always going to get people that, and we're only small fry. Let's have it right. We're doing what we do. We love what we do. We're boxing fans. We're boxing fans doing something where fans can come and join us on screen, and we're getting people that call themselves boxing fans slating us for it. I just don't get it, mate. It's either that they're jealous because we're doing something that they want to be doing,
or can't do,
or don't know where to start to do it. Well, come and join us. Be part of the show. You know, we don't bite. We have a bit of banter between each other. Me and Carl might have a bit of a pop at each other at times, but that's being Carl. We've known each other for the best part of 15 years. Yeah. You know, whatever stays, as is said on the show, between me and Carl stays on the show. And we move on, and it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, it's all about opinions. That's the whole point of this live. It's all about opinions. People to come and tell us what they want.
And also, I'll put it out there, we're there to be shot at on social media. It really doesn't make me cry on my pillow of a night, I can assure you of that. So keep it coming for me, to be honest, because he who casts stones, I'm very vocal about certain topics. So I don't mind people coming and having a go, but I just wish they'd have the bottle to come and do it on camera so we can at least debate.
You know? Definitely. You know, come on the show, give your opinions. And the more varied opinions, the better. We don't always want people coming on and agreeing with us. That's not really what the show's about. It's going to be boring if that's the case. We want people to come and challenge what we're saying.
And it makes me smile when they talk about our interviews, because it's all very easy to stand on the sidelines and talk about interviews rather than actually doing the interviews. So you know who you are, who made a few comments. So I can see you're not here. So it is what it is. So you obviously haven't got the bottle. You just typing more than you're speaking. So we'll leave that there, Andy. He doesn't deserve no more airtime.
Fair enough.
So, like I said, bit of a light week this week, but we're going to start off by talking. We keep bringing this up, but it's twisted and turns. AJ. So, do we even think Andy that he's going to fight in August, or is he going to wait for the mega bucks?
No, I actually think that he will fight, mate. But I don't think it's going to be against anyone of any note, if I'm being honest. And that don't even help him, does it? That does nothing for coming up against a monster puncher in December, does it?
He's got to get in the ring now, hasn't he? Because he can't go from his last fight all the way through to December and then jump in with Wilder.
Well, what needs to happen is his coach needs to see the improvement. That's the whole point of a fight in August. But there's no point fighting in nobody either, Carl. It's got to be someone credible. I just don't. Eddie Hearn's done an interview today. Is categorically counted out Miller.
Yeah, I've seen that.
He's not said the Miller fight will never happen. He's saying it doesn't happen in August. There's still a lot of bitterness and bad blood and disappointment from the failed drugs test. You know,
Yeah.
back in New York when he should have been fighting him instead of fighting Andy Ruiz.
And there's a lot of there's a lot of words exchanged as well, wasn't there? Some things that can't be unsaid, in my view.
Well, Miller came out with a lot of crap and then
Yeah.
failed a drug test.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I feel a little bit for Joshua here because the fight that makes sense is Dillian White.
The thing that worries me, Andy, with the heavyweight division is that the Saudis are obviously paying top dollar for these fights, but only the ones that they're interested in. And what concerns me now is even your level down from Tyson Fury's and AJ. Not that I put them in the same league anymore, but you know what I mean. The level down are waiting for big money.
Yeah.
So it's holding it all up.
But like you just said, if it's not in Saudi Arabia, they ain't getting the big money. They're not even getting anywhere near that filling out Wembley, mate.
No.
You know, they might get 40 million each if they fought at Wembley, and that's pushing it, I reckon.
I mean, I don't know what interview you saw with Eddie Hearn, but I've just watched one as I got back from work, and he's actually said that, like you said, the Dillian White is probably dead because let's be honest, he wants too much money. That's the truth there.
Yeah.
And he said the Miller one, he doesn't like that one, but he has said Salita has come to him about Walling.
Yeah, you've probably seen the same interview as me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Walling's a dangerous fight, you know.
That's not a bad fight for AJ. What about a Bicoli?
Oof. But what's in it for AJ? Dangerous fight, that.
Well, it's a tough fight, mate. It's a tough fight, and he needs a tough fight. He needs somebody that's going to put it on him because let's have it right. He won't put nothing was put on him in the last fight, was it?
Is it a difficult conundrum though, isn't there? Because if he takes a Bicoli fight and gets beat, that Saudi fight's gone.
Yeah, but you can't look.
But I'm just saying,
like that. He's in a building process. He's in a building process with his new coach.
It's got fragile foundations, though, Andy, hasn't it?
I know. I understand that, mate. But you've got to. Where's he getting his confidence from if you don't fight? You can't get that sort of confidence from sparring.
No.
It's got to be done in the lights. It's got to be done under the lights where he tries out things that his new coach is teaching him. There's no point changing coach if you're not learning anything new or being taught anything new.
I think Wilder will sit on his hands until December.
Yeah, because he don't need to do anything else, mate. But I don't think Wilder lost too much ground in that last Fury fight. In fact, you could argue that his stock rose because of how brave he was and how long he lasted and how tough he was in the fight. Just because he got knocked out at the end, that doesn't necessarily mean that your stock's dropped because he showed bravery and he was coming forward. He was trying to fight. I've said it a number of times on the show, and I'm not trying to put AJ down at all. I want him to be the aggressive fighter that he was. I want him to be confident, and he just doesn't look that way, whether he is or not. And it's just a style that he's now adopted because he's getting older in the game. I don't know. Only AJ can answer that, but it doesn't look to me like he's got the confidence to put it on people anymore. So this is why he needs these fights.
Well, that's why he's gone with Derek James because of his style of coaching, isn't it?
It is, but you can only. I mean, Derek James is teaching him this stuff, and he might look great in sparring.
If he goes swimming, you're going to get wet.
Might look great. Yeah, he might look great in sparring where there's no pressure. He's obviously going to be sparring people that he's way better than. The difference is when you put it when it's on fight night under the lights. The pressure's on that if you lose, you're done. And you don't get that big payday like you've just said. I just wonder. I just wonder how safe they're going to play it now. Dillian White was a fight that, yeah, Dillian White's not as good as he was. AJ's not as good as he was. They've probably degraded the same amount as each.
AJ would have beat. I think Dillian's gone.
Well, maybe, but you know how much Dillian White hates AJ. You sometimes get an extra 5 or 10% in a situation like that. I think that's a very even fight. It's not an interesting fight for me though. I've got to say.
I'll still say though, Andy, if a slow 40-year-old Povetkin can catch him and knock him out,
well, it's not a fight I'm going to get overly excited about, but it's probably the right fight for AJ's confidence. But if that's not going to happen, which it don't seem like it is, because by all accounts, well, not by all accounts, by Eddie Hearn's accounts, Dillian White wanted 10 million.
I've heard 12.
Well, that's the same ballpark, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And apparently Matchroom offered around about 3.
Yeah.
So they're a mile apart, aren't they? But where does Dillian White think that he's currently sat at a position where he can warrant 10 million?
Well, he ain't at the top table, is he? And he ain't getting 10 million or anywhere else, is he? He ain't getting, well, it's 3 or 4. He's struggling to get 3 million for me.
He's not, the only other person he gets that money against is Fury. He's already just lost to him. He ain't getting it against any other fighter in the division.
Chisora, not quite.
No. He wouldn't make 2 million against Chisora. It's the first Chisora fight, was that pay-per-view? Or was the second one pay-per-view where they made the money? Either or, it ain't pay-per-view no more, is it? It probably doesn't even sell out the O2 anymore. No one wants to see that fight again.
Yeah.
So he's not making the money anywhere else, mate. Maybe he's tried to be cheeky. He's tried to put it on because he knows he's not got a lot left. He knows he's not got a lot of fights left. All right, Daz.
Yeah, mate, all right.
He knows he's not got a lot of fights left. He's tried to put it on to get the most amount of money he can from this fight, and then he might, and then he's probably thinking, I'll have this one last fight against AJ and I'll retire.
Well, where's that leave him? Maybe he jumps in with Bacola because they had that pantomime session, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if Dillian White don't jump in with Bacola.
But if he wants 10 or 12 million to fight AJ, what's he going to want to fight Bacola? And there's no way the Bacola fight makes him any sort of money. He'd be lucky to get 800 grand against Bacola.
Yeah.
Daz, let's have your opinion on this, mate. So we're talking about the fact that it looks like Dillian White is no longer going to be facing AJ in August. By all accounts, he's wanting too much money. So they're looking at other opponents. Miller was touted, but obviously that's now been brushed by the wayside. Who can you see Joshua fighting? Or does he not fight and just fights in December?
I think he needs a fight.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he needs a fight in August. I mean, Bacola. What about Bacola?
I said Bacola.
You know, Bacola's screaming for a big fight. AJ need. I mean, let's be right. If AJ's going to compete with White, Wilder and Fury, should be dispatching Bacola, beating Bacola, shouldn't he?
He's in the who needs him club though, and he does.
Yeah, he is, mate. Yeah, he's a decent fighter. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I don't think he'd give any top lads any real issues.
And he doesn't bring much to the table, does he?
No,
let's be honest.
No.
It's not a big money fight. That's the problem.
No, it's not. No. I mean, Miller. I know someone over day touted for Miller to fight AJ, and it was like, really? You're going to give Jug Cheat a payday like that? Honestly,
I think that's Eddie Hearn's thoughts as well, Daz, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah, don't give him a payday. No, let him just do what he's doing wherever, and leave him.
And let's be honest, he looked really overweight, didn't he? Last time out, Miller.
Yeah, it's. I mean, mate. I mean, to be fair, mate. I think if AJ fights in August, he needs a bit of a test. let's not fight someone who you're just going to blow out in a round or two.
Pointless, isn't it?
Let's just have a bit of a test and let's see the improvements that he's making.
He needs a test. He needs somebody that's going to be durable, that when he throws the shots are going to be able to walk through some of them and lay some back on him.
You know what he needs? He needs someone who's going to give him a reality check.
Yeah.
He needs to fight somebody who's either going to make him go home and think, do you know what, this ain't really in me anymore.
He needs a good check. He needs a good check. It's a tough fight.
Or somebody who's going to make him go home after he's performed and think, you know what, I've still got it.
Yeah.
I can still do it.
They're not easy to find, though, are you? So you're looking for an opponent who's going to give him a bit of a fright, but not beat him.
Well, not necessarily a fright, mate. Somebody who can be dangerous, but AJ box to a game plan and nullify him and not let him be dangerous. That's as good for me as AJ getting dropped, getting back up and winning. Yeah. I'd rather see him use what he's learning from trainer and break someone down in 7 or 8 rounds.
What about Zhang?
Yeah, I mean, but is he rematching Joyce?
Yeah, George will beat him next time. Second of
September. Well, apparently so. But then again, if Eddie Hearn comes up with big money,
no. So I think it's signed under 2nd of September.
It's already signed, is it?
2nd of September is what I'm being told.
What about
Ergovic?
You're struggling, aren't you?
Yeah, Ergovic is a good shot for me.
The old lump.
Yeah, he's a good shot. You know, it's hard. It's hard to match him.
Here's one for you. What about Yui Fury?
Yeah, I was just it never happened mine, but yeah,
I think he's been a bit too inactive for it to be.
What? Yeah, but why?
But
he's no worse than some of the other names that are going to get
tapped. What about Jared Anderson?
He's far too dangerous, I think.
Yeah, they're not going to go near Anderson.
No, I don't think they're going to go near him yet until they have to. But you know,
if they want somebody that's going to be really game, that's fought at the highest level, I think Yui Fury is a perfect choice. Yeah, he's been inactive, but he's been in world title fights and done a really good job.
Yeah. I mean, I just think the inactivity is what people are going to say, aren't they? Does he punch hard enough to trouble AJ?
Well, you'd find out, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean,
he's a different. I think Yui Fury is a different fighter now to the Yui Fury that went in against Joe Parker.
Yeah,
he boxes differently. He's not the back foot boxer move like he perhaps was. He sits down a lot more in his shots now. He's also filled out at the weight. I know that sounds stupid because he's been around forever, but you got to remember he's not an old heavyweight.
No, he's not.
I'll tell you I'd throw him in with Frank Sanchez.
Another interesting one.
That's what I'd throw him in with.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Evening, Joe. FA jackpot. Bit too early for me, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they're all decent. What you've said, all decent shots. I mean, yeah,
there's some good heavyweights coming through, isn't there? But at the minute they're all about British level.
Yeah,
there's a big gap between the British level and then AJ's level.
Yeah, I mean, you can't put any of the British level fighters in with him to me because he should be far too much for him.
Yeah, he should be. You're right.
Should be. And to be fair, it's a no-win situation because if he blows them out, well, you're expected to that. Then if he has trouble with him, that's not going to do much for confidence, is it?
Yeah. Very interesting to see where it goes. But are we all in agreements that he needs a fight in August? It's got to happen.
Yeah, he can't get in with Wilder. We are being in summer.
No way.
No, definitely not. And he needs to be in some sort of, some sort of fight, some sort of where he's got to think. And I mean, because against Wilder, he's going to have to box to a game plan, and he's going to have to he's going to have to follow it to a T, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gonna have to stay disciplined, isn't he?
Yeah, very, very. So why not fight somebody who he's going to have to do that against? I mean, listen, I'd say who doesn't carry the power of Wilder, but who does carry power of Wilder? But someone who can carry power, and he knows if he gets lazy, he gets clipped, he could be done for. So why not do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense to me. That makes sense.
Frank Sanchez for me. Decent rankings. Get him in. Doesn't really bang. Doesn't really bang. He'll give you a move around. You'll get some rounds out of him, and he's really good technically as well. So
yeah, listen, that you've just hit nail on the head there. Really good technically. That could undo AJ.
I think AJ is quite a bit big. I don't expect him. Like I said, if you can't take him out, then does he don't belong jumping in with Wilder?
No, we don't. No. So, he's got to have someone who's going to give him a bit of a test on her next.
Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah.
Can't just blow someone out in 2 or 3 rounds who don't land a punch and then go in with Wilder. It's like silly.
He needs someone that's going to ask him questions that he's got to work out in the ring.
Yeah. Or someone that tries to ask him questions and he nullifies it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. It's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next topic then. So obviously fight this weekend, Edgar Berlanga versus Jason Quigley. I think this just shows how far the 168 division's dropped, in my opinion. This is a headline fight in the division. That's just me being honest from past years gone by. Yeah, Andy, I'll let you give your thoughts on this first.
Well, Berlanga is currently sat at 20-0. His first 16 fights were 16 first-round knockouts. And then he stepped up a little bit, and then the rest of the fights have pretty much gone the distance. So is it that the earlier fights were easy fights, or is it that he's wanted rounds and his power just isn't what he thought it was when it comes in up against more durable opponents? He's already being touted though as being an opponent for Canelo this year, which I find strange because he hasn't really been in with anybody.
It's that Puerto Rico link, isn't it? That's where Eddie's thinking about selling out stadiums. That's the truth of it.
Yeah,
Cinco de Mayo, Puerto Rico v Mexico.
Yeah.
It's massive, isn't it?
Hispanic. It's a
huge event. Is it a big fight? I think Berlanga's got to do a lot more to build his profile, to be honest.
Well, Joe don't think it's going 5 rounds.
Maybe not.
I think it does. Quigley's a tough kid.
Is Quigley big enough? Is he big enough?
Well, I think this is going longer than 5.
In reality, Quigley's a middleweight. He's not a super middleweight.
Yeah, I'm not sure how hard Berlanga bangs though. So I know he's got that 16 KOs, but let's have it right. It looks a bit padded to me.
My only concern with Quigley is he has one eye on what he's going to do when his boxing career is done. He's already managing fighters. He's already got his own promotion started up in Ireland. But
remember, Andy, no one thought he'd beat Shane Mosley Jr. and he did. So he's not like he's, no one fancies.
I'm not saying he's done, mate. I'm not saying he's done, but what I'm saying is the burning hunger still there to go against somebody that punches hard? I'm not quite sure. I think Joe might be bang on the money with that 5-rounder.
Berlanga's like, he's got that thing about him when he was knocking everybody out, but it reminds me a lot of Valero. Can you remember Valero was flattening everybody, and people were saying, once he moves up, Valero still flattened everybody.
Yeah.
Obviously it's just a bit like that mythical thing, in it? When Ennis is doing it to a certain degree now, isn't he? Ennis is flattening people, and people are like, or when he fights the elite, he'll not do that. But it's just that mythical KO thing. But like Causa said, the opponents have, got better, and he's beaten distance.
The only name of note that I recognise on Berlanga's record is Steve Rolls.
Hmm.
You look through the rest of them, and you think, no disrespect to him, but there's still a lot for Berlanga to prove. I'd say this is probably one of his toughest tests because Quigley will come to fight.
Yeah,
and he's got the know-how.
Quigley will come to fight. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Quigley's washed up or anything like that. But when you're out managing fighters and putting shows on in Ireland, it does make you think he's got one eye on or 1 foot out the door, in a sense, on his own boxing career.
Yeah, could have. But this is like Berlanga's he's got to perform, hasn't he, in this?
Yeah. He's got to look really, really good.
Yeah,
if he's got any desire to fight Canelo, he's got to look brilliant.
Yeah. And to be fair, if he performs against Quigley and looks really good, let's say blows Quigley away in 5 or 6, still don't think it qualifies him for Canelo. He's got to prove an hell of a lot more.
He has. I agree.
Canelo's struggling for a dance partner at 168, though, isn't he, Daz?
Benavidez.
Yeah, he obviously don't want none of that smoke yet, does he?
No.
And he can't fight Bivol at 175 because of WBC rules. 168 because WBC won't allow it.
Yeah.
So he's struggling for a dance partner, isn't he?
So have you heard the latest then about Badu Jack?
That's ridiculous. But he's come out and said it's not happening, hasn't he, Badu Jack?
He wanted him to get down to 190.
Yeah, I think
he wanted the fight at 200.
Who Canelo did?
No, Badu Jack did.
Right.
I think they agreed
that's way too big
now.
for Canelo. It's ridiculous. 175's too big for Canelo.
Yeah. Badu Jack's not the fighter he was, though, is he?
No, he's not.
And
that's why Canelo's targeted him, isn't it?
Of course it is. Listen, let's all be right. He targeted Bivol over Batavia because he thought Bivol would be the easier one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it backfired on him.
Well, Andy will tell you, I've said for a long time, he just doesn't belong at 175. It's a step too far.
He don't. It's a step too far. And they've all done it. All the great fighters have done it.
He's in danger, though, isn't he, of losing a bit of his own fire in his belly. If he's not got a real challenger at 168, what does he do?
Yeah, I mean, who can challenge? Who can challenge him at that weight?
At the minute, there's nobody, is there?
No.
It's a poor division in my eyes to what it has been.
And it's
apart from Benavidez, which he doesn't want for whatever reason.
Yeah. I don't know, mate. I think it might be. I mean, I think
even Benavidez has still got a little bit to prove, though, Andy Hunter.
He has, yeah.
No, but he has, right. You're right, but he's the toughest opponent at that weight.
Yeah. He's the biggest danger to him, isn't he?
Yeah,
at that weight. Yeah, by far.
Yeah. And I reckon Canelo would really get up for that fight as well.
Yeah. I mean, is that a fight that he takes and then retires? What else?
Potentially, it's a gigantic Mexican fight, isn't it?
What else does he have to prove?
Not a lot. It's just, like I say, the super middleweight division is full of middleweights blowing up, in my view.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what these fighters have done in previous eras? They
wouldn't have gone to light heavy, would they?
No.
They wouldn't have gone middle to light heavy.
I don't think a lot of them, Dad, would have gone super middle. They'd have stayed at middleweight if they liked Carl Froch was in there and people like that.
Calzaghe, before him, Froch. I mean, that used to be a division full of killers, didn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy division, that.
I'll go as far as to say that if Cole Froch, Kessler, any of them of that ilk was still around now, I don't think Canelo would have gone up to super middleweight.
No, I don't.
No, probably not. Probably not. He saw weakness, didn't he?
He saw an opportunity, mate. That's what he saw.
Yeah, saw weakness.
I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking him for his achievements, mate. He'll go down in history as one of the best ever.
Yeah. I mean, I had a conversation with someone at gym tonight. There were a picture of it's going a bit off topic, but it's middleweight, super middleweight sort of thing. There were a picture of Fab Four, Leonard and Duran, Agler, and we're having a bit of a conversation. And this guy says, "Who do you think were the best out of the lot? Then who's the greater fighter out of all of them four?" I went, "I just don't think you can look at anyone other than Roberto Duran." And he went, but he lost to Earns, lost to Agler, lost to Leonard. I says, yeah, if he were first man to beat Leonard, a peak Leonard. I went, didn't disgrace him then against Agler, to be fair. Got spanked off Earns, but, was in no sort of shape or condition. And let's be fair, Duran was a lightweight.
I was just about to say the only argument there is Duran's too small.
Duran was a lightweight, but yet he competed with him.
Yeah, he did.
Them, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Do you know what I mean? Duran was a lightweight. It's like, come on, mate. He's considered the greatest lightweight of all time.
And I'd agree with that statement as well.
Be a long way, mate. Not just because he's my favourite fighter, but be a long way, mate. I've watched endless amounts of footage of him in training and listened to stuff that, I've even spoke to him in person about, things. I've even asked him about things in person that he confirmed through a translator. It was his daughter. I don't know if it was Shelley, who used to be a boxer herself. But I asked him, mate, make genius things that obviously give a little bit of credit to his trainer, which a lot of people, obviously Ray Arcel was in the corner.
Yeah.
But there was a Panamanian guy who had him from being a kid, who was probably more of an influence than Ray Arcel. I think Ray Arcel just refined bits.
Yeah.
Right.
But there was a story I asked him about when he fought Leonard. I said to him, is this true that when the plan was to throw the jab, step in with the right hand, but do it so you go southpaw, and then throw your left uppercut at the southpaw stance to the belly? And he went, yeah, how you know that? I went, I read everything on you, mate. And I think Ray Leonard actually came out in an interview and said he was watching the left hand, obviously fell short with the jab, fell short with the right hand, but then he said this left hand come from nowhere, it pit in my stomach, and I thought it'd move my rib cage through my spine. And I think Leonard's word, and that was a strategy. See, I love things like that. You guys know that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And genius. And the strategy was as well to get into Leonard's head at the start,
which obviously worked.
Disrespect his wife.
His wife, yeah.
Get into his head. But then it showed you Ray Leonard's greatness, that Ray figured that out and thought, why am I fighting his fight? Yep. I mean, to be fair, it's not an excuse, but Duran was stiffed over a bit in that rematch with a weight. I mean, but then you can say he shouldn't have blown up to that sort of weight.
A bender for
no, but when as far as he knew, he got it sprung on him. I asked him that as well. I says, is that true? I said, did you get it sprung on you? Did you have any notice, or did you just go out and go on a bender and eat fish and chips and stuff all the time? And he says, no, there was no fight news as far as I knew. And then suddenly you fight.
You've got to give it to Leonard on that, though, haven't you? That's very clever.
Of course it is, mate. Of course it is. Very, very clever.
He sees all the photos or the news clippings of benders and of
Yeah.
parties that go on for 2
What,
and 3 and 4 days
in
at a
them
time.
days, what was it, Pigeon Carrier, where they was getting them photos?
Well, what was about, mate? What was about in them days?
Well, I think it's a lot
Very
of.
little.
I think it's a lot of a case of people who could see into the camp as well, who could say, look, Roberto's been on a bender for a week.
He hasn't been in the gym. He's not been in the gym.
He's done no but eat. Seen him, he looks all right, fatter. And so, but then let's flip it and let's take a positive out of a negative. Ours Duran gone 15 rounds. Well, he didn't go 15 rounds, but ours Duran, you know, I know he's no masked it, but I think he probably could have gone 15 rounds. But, you know, ours, and then the man's come back after that, being nationally shamed as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that performance against Davy Moore were like, wow. Because Davy Moore were a killer.
Yeah.
You know, and Duran had no right to be a junior middleweight.
And that's where, bringing it back to current day, Daz, that makes me wonder what's going to happen with Mauricio Lara next. Because obviously that performance was piss poor, wasn't it? From his perspective.
He's going up, mate. There's no way he stays at featherweight.
But different to Duran is he knew that was coming. He knew
I've heard a rumor he's going to be fighting Cordina.
Oh, Lara.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Cordina boxes his head off.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Lee would set a blueprint there now, hasn't he? He'd be good enough to do it.
Yeah, of course he has. I mean, there's also the thing where, you know, I mean, he might be better off as a super feather, but I don't think he's the most professional in between fights, is he?
Did you see that? Andy, did you see in that interview you watched that Eddie Hearn said he's got a call with Forrest this week?
Yep.
He's got a call with the grounds team and the chairman, by all accounts.
I think it's going to happen.
So what's he going to do? Is he going to give up the WBA title then?
I think that's what'll happen, yeah.
Unless
Eddie Hearn works his magic and pays, manage to pay a step aside money. If he doesn't pay he's
Otterbeck or something. I can't remember. I know he is.
Komatov or something like that, isn't it?
He's not having any of it though, is he?
Well, if he's not,
no.
Then Lee Wood will drop the belt.
September the 9th for me.
And that's not a disrespectful thing that either. What else has Lee Wood got to prove? He's in a position where he's come out and said he's probably got two maximum 3 fights left.
Do you think, right? Obviously, I think that the mandatory against this kid is a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
You know? So do you think it's a case of he's looking now, which I totally understand. It'd make more money from him v Warrington at Forest Ground.
He'll probably make.
He's two-time world champion, isn't he? He won't want to give his belt up. If that's what's going to stand in between him and the City Ground.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So he's probably his dream from being a kid.
At
City Ground. So, and the thing is, mate, as well, whether there's a title online or not, he's going to make more money than if he defends against this Russian kid.
Yeah.
He'll probably double his wage, if not triple his wage, fighting Warrington.
Yeah. And to be fair, mate,
even more than that.
And to be fair, I think the Russian kid's more dangerous than Warrington.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I think he is.
I don't think that's even playing into Lee's
thought process. But it's a case like his thought process at the minute. Apparently, is I've got 2 fights. You know, they need to be financially lucrative, don't they?
And let's have it right. He's been promised a City Ground now for the last 2 fights, hasn't he? He's done everything that's been asked of him. So the lad deserves his City Ground fight, don't he?
Yeah. I would go as far as to say, and I don't know this. I've not had a conversation with Lee, but I will ask him next time we interview him. I will go as far as to say, I think the City Ground fighting at City Ground, being the first Nottingham lad to fight at the City Ground. The first event at the City Ground, in fact.
Well, to fight in a boxing match, you mean?
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Do you think that's it then?
I think that's as important to him as the world title.
Yeah, I think he'll fight at the City Ground, then he'll go for unification against Lopez, wherever, and that's it. Amen.
Yeah. But if he gives it up to fight at City Ground, then what does he do then, do you think?
I still think he gets a Lopez fight, don't you? If he beats Warrington, I still think he's the biggest name in that
Yeah, of
division.
course he is. He's still a big enough. Of course he is, mate. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not being funny, but there's a case for him fighting Warrington. The Russian kid wins the title, and then
Lee jumps in with him.
Then Lee jumps in with him, and I'll stand by. I think that Russian kid, mate, is very, very dangerous.
Or could he, as a last fight? I mean, it might be the case that he fights at the City Ground. The fight's that good, and the event's that good, and
thinks, how do I follow that?
How do I follow that? And he might retire.
A bit like Bellew.
A bit like Bell, yeah.
Yeah, Goodison, yeah. How do I follow that? I don't. Last thing I want to see.
Obviously, Bellew took the Usyk one because RG turned down an undisputed fight.
Oh yeah. Last thing I want to see is Lee go out flat on his back. I don't want to see that. He deserves better than that.
I mean, there's nothing to say that would happen.
No, but what I'm saying is, there's more chance of that happening for me against a Russian than there is against Warrington. I think he bashes Warrington up easy, mate. If I'm honest, I think he's far too good and powerful for Warrington. But not for 1 minute do I think Lee's looking at that and going, "Yeah, Warrington's the easier option."
No.
For me, what about the thought process? I think you brought this up, Daz. What about the thought process? And I've thought more about it over a little bit of time. That he fights Warrington, and then as a last fight moves up and fights Cordina.
Not for me.
No, listen.
Again, it's about for these two last fights. We've just said it. It's about the money. It's about what Lee can get for his last two big fights.
I mean, if it is that, fair enough. But I'd also like to see him go out with 2 wins, winnable fights. You know, listen, I'm not saying easy fights because that's not in his nature, is it?
It's not in his nature, no.
He might want to tick the American box though, so that's where I think it might be Lopez. On top rank.
Good shot, good shot.
That's what if I had to put my money on it, and when we interview him, I'm gonna put it on him and ask him. So leave you watching and get rid
of. When you interview him, like I was gonna say, I think you've got the same idea, Carl. I think my ideal plan for him would be see what he thinks. You're probably gonna set the same thing to him. My ideal plan with him to fight Warrington at City Ground, get the win, and then fight the guy who's considered probably next best, or some people may say Lopez is better than Wood, or some may say second to Wood.
Plus, he would quite fancy that green and gold strap, I think, as well. And also, we get an American away day, so yeah.
There's also who's the other champion? Is it Ramirez?
Yeah, but what's he bring to the table apart from the belt?
Oh, he brings a belt to the table, don't he?
Yeah, I'm thinking commercially though, because Lopez has got quite a following now, hasn't he? Texas way and
Lopez is recognised in the UK because of the 2 fights he's had, but I wouldn't say he's any more commercially viable than any other fighter.
Well, I'm not so sure. I think he's got a bigger name in the States. And who's Ramirez promoted by?
I'm not sure. But
Sorry, lads.
No worries.
But either of those in Vegas or in MSG.
My thing was going to say, fight Warrington, beat Warrington, and then like Carl said, tick the American box. V Lopez, 3-time world champion.
I've never heard Lee. I've never heard Lee would once say, "I want to fight in America."
He's mentioned Lopez, but no, I've not heard him say American. He's mentioned away day.
Once he's fought at City Ground, he might think, "Well, now let's, only thing that maybe could top that fight at Madison Square Garden." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And let's have it right. If you go and fight Lopez over in the States, you're getting the lion's share of that purse as well because you're on your toes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my prediction anyway. So he beats Warrington then. what's left for him in the UK?
Nothing.
Not a
Because
lot.
Lopez, you bring Lopez over, it's only an arena fight, isn't it? Let's have it right. It ain't doing the city ground, is it?
Yeah. I mean, who does he fight in Britain when he beats Warrington? Nobody. There's nobody.
Well, I had my eye on Conlon, but that's gone.
Yeah, I don't. No, not Conlon. Just I don't know what's the deal with Conlon, mate. To be fair.
And then you got your
I'm like you. I'm a little bit perplexed about the Conlon situation. I don't know.
Yeah. Game plans seem to be non-existent with him. Seems
and
to
then
be.
you've got
seems to want
people
to have
like
a
Nick.
fight.
You got people like Nick Ball coming up. He needs to earn his stripes.
Yeah, Nick Ball. Looks like he's going to take over the mantle, but I don't think Nick Ball's even in conversation with Lee Wood.
No. I'm just throwing names out, to be honest.
Yeah, Lee Wood's going to be long gone, big time. Nick Ball's thingy, I think. And listen, Nick Ball, could very well take over and be our best featherweight.
What about a Navarrete in the States? Oof.
He's moved up, Hunter. He don't do featherweight no more.
I mean, listen, the Cordina one, yeah, I can see where it's coming from, but I don't know.
That's a massive fight. That's of all the possibilities after Warrington, Cordina's probably.
I think Cordina's got his eyes on unifications, though.
I'm sure he has.
Yeah, I don't think Cordina's going to be.
A pound note can change that, though, Daz, can't it?
Oh, mate, a pound note changes a lot of things, doesn't it? Yeah.
I'm sure Cordina wants to unify. There's no doubt about that. But like you've just said, if it's put to him in the right way, I mean, is that a stadium fight?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's big money then, isn't it?
I think it's a good fight.
Yep.
I mean, would it? I'm not sure. I think you'd have to have a fairly decent undercard under it. I'm not sure you could have that and 7 absolute walkovers, and it'd be.
When Ryan Amos sparks your boy, Daz, he can be on the undercard, can't he?
Listen, mate, Ryan's my boy as well, mate. Ryan's my boy as well. I told you the other day I like Ryan.
You did.
I have a lot of time for Ryan. Ever such a nice lad. I've been in opposite corner to Ryan, and Ryan's got some qualities, mate. He's got some real good qualities. But I'll be totally honest, and if Ryan was sat here, mate, I'd say the same thing.
He won't mind, would he? Boxing's about opinions.
Yeah, it doesn't carry enough power. Junaid Boston carries serious firepower.
I'm looking forward to that fight. I really am.
And he's not just a puncher. He's seriously skillful. He's gonna have. Listen, there's gonna be some questions asked.
We're interviewing Ryan on Sunday as well. So
listen, tell him. Obviously, if he sees this, he might think, "Oh, cheers, Daz." But I wish him the best, mate. Both of them, I like them both.
Yeah.
Obviously, I go to Steel City, and for sparring, and I get on really well with them guys.
And we're Clifton lads, so we're going to back Ryan, aren't we?
I get on well with Ryan as well, mate.
How could you not get on with Ryan? He's a diamond. He's so laid back, it's untrue, and he does.
But what I will say, I'm not even going to give a prediction. Well, I've said what I think will win, and why. But what I will say is, let's give them both massive credit, mate.
For jumping in, yeah.
Because not many. Listen, Junaid as well deserves it. Because he's not going.
I like Junaid. I think he's a great talker. He's got it all, hasn't he? Really.
I tell you what, this is it's smart matchmaking as well, because Ryan's obviously now a 10-round fighter. This is at 8 rounds, I believe.
Yeah.
They're not daft enough to put this over 10 rounds, because if Ryan drags it.
Yeah, but that suits this could suit Ryan though, being 8 and not 10.
No, I think the longer the fight suits Ryan, because he's probably the fittest male fighter I've seen in boxing. He never stops.
Echo might have a bit of words to say.
Yeah, Echo might have a word.
Yeah,
about
maybe
that.
You may be right there, but he's proper fit. He's proper fit.
Yeah.
And Junaid's not been tested.
But let's be fair, mate. Ryan's very. Listen, as much as I like him, he's very he does the same thing.
Oh, he
It's
has a
all
style.
about-
Yeah,
It's
I
all
get
about
that.
levels, right? It's all about levels, and
And-
this is a new level for Ryan. I'm
Yes,
only telling
mate.
it how I see
It
it.
is,
Let's
mate.
see, you know what I mean?
Listen, if Ryan comes through it and shows himself and announces
The
himself,
wheels is lobster, isn't
I'll be
it?
really happy for him. Be really happy for him. You know, if Junaid does what I think either way, mate, Ryan's going to cover himself in glory.
There's also you say that about Ryan, but playing devil's advocate, there's also a lot of questions for Junaid to be asked
Of course, at this stage,
because he hasn't.
Yeah.
You know, he's blowing people away. Ryan's really, really, really tough.
It's the way he's doing it, though.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that, Daz.
And do you know what, mate?
What I'm saying, though,
Biola Carts, he went to America sparring. When he went to America with Dalton, he just literally looked. Apparently, he looked like a 20-fight world champion.
Well, it's sink or swim time for Ryan, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, Junaid is probably, what level would you say Junaid's at? I'd say he's probably above area title level. Now, I'd say he's maybe English level.
Yeah,
the problem you've got is he probably is. He's probably, and the word is probably.
Step up from both.
He's probably that good. The problem is he hasn't been tested against somebody at that level.
No.
So until he is, you can't say for definite.
Yeah, I'd say Ryan's English title level.
Yeah.
Ryan's better than area title level.
We don't know how good either of them are, do we? Because until they jump in together, this is
it's going to be very interesting if Ryan, because if Ryan takes what Junaid has for the first half of the fight, and it gets it let me finish, Daz. If it gets then to the sixth round and onwards, that's Ryan's territory for me, and that's where Junaid's then got questions to answer.
Junaid's got variety, mate. I don't think he's
I know that, Daz. I know that. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm getting at.
You're being unprofessional again. You're backing your Nottingham boy.
No, yeah, I am.
My name's Cole, and I am biased.
I'm only joking, mate.
Stop being unprofessional.
I'm playing. What I'm doing is I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit and saying this isn't a straightforward win for Bostein.
See, I think it is. I think he's gonna shine.
Well, if he does, then he's proved himself, hasn't he, at that level. My point is, he's got all the skill. Everyone sees it. Everyone's seen it. That's the word around boxing. But until he proves it under the lights against somebody at that level, and then again against somebody at the next level, and then against somebody at the next level, you just never know.
No, of course you don't know. I do think Ryan's gonna. I just don't want Ryan to come out of this fight and all people are talking about is how tough he is, because he's a bit better than that. Do you know what I mean? I don't want him to take an absolute monstrous beating and then come out with he showed his toughness, and because I think he's a bit better than that. He's got a bit more to him than that, and I do think he will ask a few questions. But I think for the most part, Junaid will be in control.
And remember, Junaid chose him, hasn't he?
Mate, he's not really a puncher, Ryan, is he? He's fit, he's fit and come forward. So you'd think that Junaid's chose him and Junaid's team's chose him for the fact that Junaid's not gonna have to go and find him, is he?
No.
Do you know what I mean? So, and that's Junaid's strength, really, at the minute, isn't it? Picking people off, walking them on.
Junaid Bostein's a puzzle, isn't it? No one's worked him out yet, and he's a box of tricks, isn't he?
Oh, mate,
I agree with what you're saying. On paper, Ryan's probably made for Junaid, but paper don't fight back, does it? So.
Depends if your missus is itching you out, Edgar.
I'm still of the opinion that if it gets dragged late, Junaid's got a lot of questions to answer because he's not been that far.
But do you think he's not going to be fit enough to do that? Do you think he's not? Do you think
it's about a lot of things, isn't it? It's about, is he fit enough? Has he learned enough ring IQ to deal with that situation? What's he like when he gets roughed up? Because he hasn't been roughed up.
I mean, let's be fair though, mate. Do you honestly think a ref on a matchroom show is going to allow him to be roughed up?
No.
That's not going to happen.
As long as it's done legally, what?
No, it's still not going to happen.
No, the answer is no.
Still not going to happen.
We'll see.
Ryan, mate, honestly, come on. We see some of these refs, mate, and it's on a matchroom show. There's no way, mate, Ryan is going to be allowed to do borderline rough stuff.
I'm just hoping, Daz, that it's Amos's cup final, this, isn't it? So he's going to bring up clearly. He's going to bring his A game into.
I don't think he's ever in anything but A+ condition, is there?
No,
I don't think he's ever in anything but that. But
it could be a long time before he gets a chance on a Matchroom Queensborough boxer card again, and that's what I'm clinging on to as a biased lad from Clifton.
Yeah,
I'm clinging on to the fact that I hope he catches Bostein.
Yeah, mate. I appreciate that. It's thingy, and I like them both.
I said to Carl at the Leewood fight, the first Leewood fight, he looks $1 million, Bostein.
Yeah,
he looks $1 million. We saw him close up,
and he talks $1 million.
Yeah. Completely agree. He looks like he's got all. He looks like he's got all the aspects.
I just don't think Ryan punches hard enough. I don't think he punches hard enough to. I think he could get his respect by being on his chest quite a bit.
Well, that'll be Ryan's plan. Is to get close.
He's got to bang away that body, and he doesn't slow him down.
I think he'd be better off targeting body. To be fair,
yeah,
it's what you have to get past to get there, isn't it? Like I said, Ryan's got to pressure him, pressure, but he's got to do it intelligently. Like I say, I like Ryan, really do, really nice kid. One of the nicest lads I've met in boxing, if I'm honest.
And deserves his shot, right? He's earned his stripes, hasn't he?
Yeah, and like I say, I don't think he's going to disgrace himself, but I just don't think he's going to be allowed to do probably what he needs to do to win. And that whether that's from Junaid not allowing it or whether that's a ref. Because I mean, I hate saying it, mate, about referees and stuff, but let's be fair. Ryan's going to probably need to tread on his toes, pull his head down. Dig him to body while his head's down. And that's not going to happen a lot, is it? Without him getting warnings and points took off. Do you know what I mean?
Carl, do you want to just read that comment out from...
I've done it and I've responded to it, Andy. So, I think that's a great place to finish the show, Andy, this week, don't you? Best of luck to both fighters, I might add, Junaid and Ryan. Obviously, I'm in the Ryan camp, being from the same estate as him. I think you made your point really well, Daz. You came across, obviously, you put your point across why you think the fight is going to play out how it does. We're due to interview Ryan Amos on Sunday, and we're also due to interview Lee Wood on Sunday. So keep an eye out for both.
Listen, tell Ryan, mate. Tell Ryan I wish him well.
Yeah. I think, like I said to you, Daz, you've made your point. Boxing's about opinions, right? It is what it is.
I was in opposite corner to him when he fought Luke, and I was very impressed with what he did. And, very impressed with what he did. But again, doing it to Luke and doing it to Junaid Boston is two different things. But listen, you got to roll the dice to win, and that's what he's doing, and that's what they're both doing. To be fair, because it's biggest test of Junaid's career as well.
Yeah. So, and there's got to be a bit of Ryan. There's got to be a bit of Ryan that's thinking, you cheeky picking me.
Mate, do you know what, mate? I was just going to say, there's got to be a little bit extra fire in Ryan thinking, do you know what, you cheeky little shit?
Yeah.
Choosing me. Right, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
thank you for the payday. Now I'm going to knock you out.
Yeah, it's going to add a bit of fire to him, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, that's it then. We're going to bring it to an end. That's been Last Bell Boxing, live every Thursday. This is a one-off show on a Wednesday. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next show, which is next Thursday, 7 p.m. Good evening.